There's a version of rich that looks almost impossible from the outside. The houses, the jets, the art, millions of dollars a year in lifestyle. And somehow the tax return stays weirdly quiet. Not because they found a secret offshore island, because they almost never do the one thing ordinary people do when they need cash: sell something. They borrow against what they own instead. And once you see the machine, you understand why the ultra-wealthy treat selling as a last resort. This is how rich people borrow instead of selling. The three-word strategy called buy, borrow, die. Start with the rule almost nobody thinks about. The tax code most of the time does not tax you just because something got more valuable. Your stock can go from $1 to 10. On paper, you're richer. But until you sell, until you realize the gain, the IRS usually has nothing to collect. That single design choice is the foundation of modern wealth. Growth can compound for decades inside an asset, tax deferred, as long as you never hit the sell button, which creates a painful paradox. The moment you sell to fund your life, you finally trigger the tax you've been avoiding, and you hand over a slice of every dollar of gain. Let's make it concrete with a simple worked example. Numbers chosen to make the mechanism obvious, not a real person's portfolio. Imagine a taxable brokerage account worth $10 million today. The original cost basis, what was actually paid, is $2 million. So $8 million of unrealized gain is sitting there quietly. On paper, it's wealth. In tax terms, it hasn't happened yet. Now you need $1 million in cash. A house, a business deal, a year of living? 2 doors. Sell or borrow. Door 1, sell $1 million of stock. Because the portfolio is up 5-fold, that $1 million slice carries about $200,000 of basis buy and $800,000 of taxable gain. At a combined long-term capital gains rate of 23.8%, 20% federal plus the 3.8% net investment income tax, the tax bill is $190,400. So you sold $1 million face value and you walk away with about $809,600 after tax. You needed $1 million. You're short. And you permanently erased part of the compounding machine. Door 2, don't sell. Pledge the portfolio and borrow the $1 million. Private banks and brokerages offer securities-backed lines of credit, sometimes called pledged asset lines. Diversified collateral often supports loan-to-value ratios around 50 to 70%. On a $10 million portfolio, a 50% line could support up to $5 million of borrowing. Pulling $1 million is conservative. And here's the tax point that makes the whole strategy possible. Loan proceeds are generally not treated as income. You owe the bank. You do not owe the IRS a capital gains check for taking the cash. Same $1 million of liquidity. Tax on the draw, 0. The $8 million of unrealized gain stays unrealized. The portfolio keeps compounding. Put the doors side by side. Sell path. You trigger an $800,000 gain, pay roughly $190,000 in tax, and net about $810,000, while shrinking the asset that was earning for you. Borrow path. You take $1 million in cash, pay 0 capital gains tax on the draw, and leave the $10 million still working. The price of that choice is interest. Real money, paid over time. Interest is not free. But for someone whose alternative is handing the treasury nearly a quarter of the gain on day 1, the loan can look like the cheaper way to unlock cash, as long as the collateral holds. Quick pause. If this kind of money mechanism is clicking, hit subscribe. We take one idea like this and make it exactly this clear every time. The third word is the quiet closer, die. Under Section 1014 of the tax code, many inherited assets get a step up in basis, reset to fair market value on the date of death. That means decades of unrealized gain that never faced income tax while the owner was alive can be wiped clean for the heir's income tax basis. Heirs can sell assets to repay the loan with little or no capital gains tax on the old appreciation, because for income tax purposes, that appreciation was reset. Buy, borrow, die. Hold appreciating assets, spend against them, and let the basis reset finish the job. That is the 3-step machine. 3 traps kill this strategy. First, margin calls. If the collateral crashes, the lender can force a sale at the worst moment, triggering the exact tax you were trying to avoid. Second, interest. Every year the loan sits, interest compounds against you. Cheap money makes the strategy prettier. Expensive money can eat the advantage. Third, the law. Step up in basis has been on the political chopping block for years. It is still the rule, but it is not a law of physics. So this is not a free lunch. And it is not financial advice. It is a map of how the code treats realization, debt, and inheritance, and why selling feels expensive to people who have another door. Once you see it, ordinary money advice looks different. Sell to spend, and you realize the gain. Borrow to spend, and the gain can keep sleeping. That asymmetry, tax on realization, not on paper wealth, is one of the deepest design choices in the American tax system. The ultra-wealthy didn't invent it, they just live inside it. Buy, borrow, die. 3 words, 1 machine, and a very good reason the sell button stays untouched. Tell me in the comments, which money mechanism should we unpack next? How banks create money? How a bubble inflates? Or how tariffs actually get paid? Drop it below.